Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the main event! This is Cinesmack! And the winner is...
Hello, Cinesmacketeers, and welcome to bout number 172 of Cinesmack, the podcast about films by filmmakers. I am your host, Mike Keeler. Joining me tonight is our panel of award-winning judges. First, filmmaker and owner of Arizona Inc. Studios. Andrew, do you know who I am? I was in Game of Thrones. I'm Ed Sheeran, bitch. Zumwalt.
Wow.
You got nothing?
Oh, wait. Here it is. I know. I got one. Okay. Wow.
Right.
We really have amazing dads. It's surprising we're not both strippers, I believe is the quote.
Fine.
Wow.
Writer, actor, and director Kyle, you want to make an omelet? You got to kill some people. Fine.
Hello, everybody. I know I don't ever have my camera on, so I thought I'd just give you a little visual. My head also looks like a penis from behind like The Rock, and I have a pedophile mustache like Chris Evans. So there you go.
Third, filmmaker and owner of One Genome Short Productions, Gabriel, does the back of your head look like a giant penis, Rowald?
No, obviously that's Kyle. He just admitted it.
No, it's Gabe. I lied.
Fourth, filmmaker and owner of Cheshire Moon Films, Tom, let's see if these moves fuck. Haggis.
I'm really excited. One more show and I get my Shawshank jacket.
All right. Let's poke the monkey. Find out what we are discussing this month.
Ladies and gentlemen, dapper double-crossers and on-the-run operatives, welcome to the main event. Tonight, two international spy stories scour the globe, searching for Cinesmack superiority. Does Red Notice steal success? Or will the Gray Man run away with the win? In the first quarter, from 2021, written and directed by Russell Marshall Thurber, starring Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Red Notice. In the second quarter, from 2022, written by Joe Russo, Christopher Marcus, and Stephen McFeely. Directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. Starring Anna de Armas, Chris Evans, and Ryan Gosling. The Gray Man.
So I remember watching Red Notice right around the time that it first came out. And I remember not wanting to watch The Gray Man because Captain America was the bad guy. And I know that sounds weird, but I just couldn't do it. And in full disclosure, I just finished The Gray Man about an hour ago from right now when we're recording this. And I really enjoyed it. Even as a bad guy, Chris Evans can chew the scenery. Let's poke the monkey and start it off with our first round, which is writing.
Well, I'm gonna caveat this by saying that I enjoyed both of these movies very much, and I'm not quite sure what to say about the writing. I feel like they were kind of cliche for spy thriller type movies. There's all this. For some reason, they have to go all over the globe for everything. They have to have like 1,000 locations. They're everywhere. And I thought they were entertaining. I think the basic plot in each was pretty simple, which is okay. But I didn't really find them all that compelling plot wise. But I did enjoy them. And I feel like too, like we can't give the writers too much credit for dialogue on either of these. Because it's my understanding. Well, I mean, Ryan Reynolds is in one, and he's ad-libbing and riffing all the time. He's coming up with crazy, dialogue all the time. And then I also read that Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling were given free rein to kind of ad-lib a lot of their dialogue. So it's hard to give the writers much credit for the dialogue. Maybe they gave them kind of a framework to work within, and they're mostly just big action set pieces. So I don't know how to evaluate the writing exactly on these. Maybe you guys can give me some insight on that.
I think that's a fair point. That so much of it was ad lib. I think in that case I kind of shift to the story side of things, and both of them, they have their twists and their turns, and I think Red Notice has a better script in terms of the kind of the story, and it's got a little bit more of an Indiana Jones feel to it, and it kind
Very
of
much so.
it pulls you along using that plot. Gray Man has their own devices that they use to kind of keep you compelled to keep watching. But I really think Red Notice, the hopping from location to location and the twists and turns and the very simple, we talked about it with Harold and Kumar, the point A to point B type story. Get the 3 eggs and get them to the wedding. And it's I think it's one of the things in this movie that helps just stay out of the way and let the movie happen. And that's why I kind of lean towards writing on Red Notice, just that the story is just a bit more interesting because, like you said, dialogue. How do you chalk that up?
Yeah, and I felt like maybe they were a little bit derivative in some ways too. You mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones, and I think we'll get into that a lot more later because there's more than just subtle references to Raiders of the Lost Ark in Red Notice.
Oh, and I am totally okay with that.
Oh, me too. I did not hate it. I'll tell you that. I was like, but it. I mean, it's very obvious, and they made references to all kinds of other movies, um, as well. But I felt like Gray Man 2 was a little bit like, how many times have we seen the plot where there's somebody on the inside who's corrupt and they're trying to get one of their own agents and take them out. I mean, how many times have we seen that? I feel like they're derivative. That to me is very kind of Jason Bourne, and I feel like that's what they were trying to do. They're trying to recreate these existing franchises in some way, and that a lot of them, it's not only just referential, but it's derivative. So.
That's Jason Bourne.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
I think
I'll stop.
And to Gray Man's credit, I don't remember a movie where like the lead pursuer did not give a fuck about anything. That it was all out. They will take down anybody that gets in the way, and very publicly so. Like some of the ones you mentioned, it's very covert, like who's the bad guy, and but this the protagonist, antagonist, they know who the other one is and what they'll do. And I think that was kind of what I really liked about Gray Man is that right from the start, Lloyd would do anything. And that's another part of the reason that I really like Gray Man is how far is he really willing to go? And apparently he has no limits. So
Yeah, I mean, calling these movies both derivative, I mean, it's hard to do anything new in these kind of genres anymore. They've been done to death. Um, I feel like when you talk about it being a homage to Indiana Jones, the thing that strikes me is Indiana Jones has a lot of charm and wit to it, and I think Red Notice lacks almost all of that. Like, I think one of the knocks on Netflix properties is that they're basically paying people lots of money to go on vacation and joke around and have fun making a movie, right? Like that's the Adam Sandler criticism, is that he and his friends go to Hawaii and Monaco and stuff, and they happen to shoot a movie while they're there. Red Notice feels a lot like that to me, where they got together some people and they had a I honestly think it's a pretty weak, kind of bad globetrotting story that doesn't need to happen. I don't like really any of the characterizations. I don't even like the twist. Um, and it's one of those movies. It's like so blatantly like it feels like a very blatant kind of cash grab move that it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I didn't think it was particularly witty or fun or funny. So I guess I'm shitting all over Red Notice, but I'll just start there. Gray Man, yeah, Jason Bourne with different actors, pretty much. Cat and mouse spy game with a psychopath on one end, which is kind of interesting. I did like the characters. They had a little bit more meat on the bones to them, even though a lot of it was shrouded in secrecy. I think the acting helped play into that. They felt more realistic, not like comic characters or cartoons or tropes. Like I felt like they were a little bit in Red Notice. And I like a good story with a morally gray protagonist that finds a line that he won't cross. and then is pursued by people who have no problem crossing that line, and he has to kind of juggle that. And I think the set pieces they put together in the movie were great, wrote them into the script really well. And interesting to see Billy Bob Thornton in the movie. Did not expect that. Love his old-timey villain mustache, or a Southern general mustache. That was quite nice. Yeah, I liked Gray Man considerably more than I liked Red Notice. I really did not care for the story or the writing at all in Red Notice.
I guess I'm gonna be that guy. I disagree with all of that. I love both of these movies. I think they're funny. I laughed for the comedy, and both Ryan Gosling has some of his little quips. Ryan Reynolds, the Ryans, I guess, you know, his obvious improvisation that we all know Ryan Reynolds obviously did on set. I'm sure there was some of it from The Rock and Gal, but Ryan Reynolds, that's what he's known for. Yeah, I mean, have I seen these stories before? Sure. I've seen a lot of movies where I've seen the story before, but that doesn't make me less enjoy them because they're fitting a mold. How many Oceans movies are there? How many, Jurassic Parks and Star Wars? It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy them just for it's a fun popcorn movie to watch and laugh and just kind of completely shut out. So, yeah, did I see the twist coming? Did I see this happening? Yeah, some of it was pretty obvious, but it was still enjoyable to watch. It was enjoyable to laugh a little bit and to see these, characters. I would say that Gray Man is a little more of a serious right than Red Notice. Red Notice felt very like they went into it knowing it was going to be more on the comedy side, but for the most part, I don't know. I enjoyed both of them. I thought they were great. So I'll be the odd man in this group tonight.
No, I want to be clear. I enjoyed both of them too. I don't have a problem with either of them. I mean, I have problems, but they're both a really fun watch.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree that a movie can be formulaic and very reminiscent and like homage and almost sort of rip-offy in a way to other things. And that's fine if it's aware of that and doesn't try to pass itself off as original. But to me, if you're gonna do that, it has to have something about it that's enjoyable or hooks you. And maybe it doesn't have to be super original, but it has to have some quality that makes you want to keep watching the movie. And I really struggled with Red Notice. Just even like getting through it, it felt so ham-fisted. And like, I honestly think that this movie is the movie that I got over Ryan Reynolds. I just am like, I'm done with his shtick. And maybe this is just me airing a personal grievance, but like I used to love Ryan Reynolds, but I think I've seen it too many times. And it's there with The Rock too, right? I've seen the same thing too many times, and this was the one that like tipped the scale. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, I'm fine if you want to be Daredevil, or not Daredevil. That's a very different movie.
Yeah.
Deadpool, perfect as Deadpool. Yes, that'd be great. Nicely done. Yeah, I'd rather seen Larry David in Red Notice. That'd have been much more fun. Him playing opposite The Rock.
Jesus Christ, write that script right now.
I'm
Yes.
honest to God, I'm over Ryan Reynolds. I'm over Ryan Reynolds in his scene chewing. I'm over The Rock and his same performance in every movie, pretty much. And I think Gal Gadot is probably one of the worst actresses working. She's beautiful. She is a terrible actress. We can get to that in acting, but
I don't, I still like Ryan Reynolds. Seeing some of the stuff he's done at like Welcome to Wrexham, and I don't know, he's very savvy. He knows what people want, and
stayed away from because people told me it was like a soulless, stupid humor or whatever. And that is exactly what Red Notice was. So when I went from Red Notice to The Gray Man, I was like, oh my God, this is so much better. So I think I watched them in the right order to have dispelled that myth that had been told to me.
So, but
Or
you're still
whether it's not a myth.
you're still on the Ryan Gosling train. You're not tired of his shtick.
No, I love Ryan Gosling. For whatever reason, I'm not tired of his shtick because I
Yeah.
feel like it's so much less in a movie. It's so much less in your face, and it feels so much less like manufactured and fake and like corporate. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Okay.
Also, I've seen Ryan Gosling play lots of different roles as lots of different characters. That
Sure.
being said, I don't know if anybody plays quiet psychopath or like dead faced but still gets some emotion across. Like that's a great Ryan Gosling thing. But I think of movies like The Other Guys. I mean, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. And Big Short. You know, like those are movies where he kind of stretches his wings a little bit. He plays different characters. I feel like Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in everything.
So with like Chris Evans, how much do you think of that was actually written?
I'm
and
kind of tired.
We're in the wrong category.
And what? No.
Yeah,
I agree.
But when you're writing the role for Lloyd, we were talking about improvisation and things like that. So did they write a bad guy, and then Chris Evans brings his own, style, his own improv into the dialogue?
I'm gonna guess that stuff was written.
Okay.
I love Chris Evans. I think he's great, and everything he does. But boy, I really need to believe that someone wrote that for him, and he can't, even acting wise, be that big of an asshole.
He's good at it though, and I think you know
he's
what
a good
movie it
actor.
made me think of. What made me think of was Knives Out.
Yeah.
That's the movie that made me realize, like, oh, Chris Evans can play like a prick. He can
Yeah.
play like a bad guy. He's not just Captain America. Because I think up until then, like most of my experience with Chris Evans was just him being Captain America.
Well, and
And I was
rom-coms.
like,
He has a lot of
see,
rom-coms too, where
never
he's...
watched. I was never really. I never was exposed to that side of Chris Evans.
I'll say it.
It's just it's the goody two shoes, that all American boy.
Danny Boyle is making sure you guys remember that Chris Evans was in Sunshine.
Yeah.
And he was a dick in that. So.
Oh yes. Oh, thanks, bruv. While you're there,
Who cares?
there it is.
That was the best
Well, he
time
got
for
it
that.
in.
Anyway, back to the writing, I just I don't know. I didn't see that stuff about the stuff being improv and ad-libbed, but it doesn't surprise me. But I'm saving that for directing, so I'm just going to shut up.
All right, I feel like you guys have said everything you can about writing, and it started bleeding into acting.
Yeah,
So-
we covered two categories at once.
Yeah, we
music.
kind of
Ready.
started it, so
I'm ready to vote on both if you want.
yep,
You just
I'll
wanna
vote
skip
on
to the
both.
end?
I mean, I'm just going to put Kyle down for Red Notice, and
No thanks.
all right.
I'm gonna Danny Boyle the shit out of Gray Man tonight.
All right. Gabe, let's start off with your vote.
Well, I thought, like I said before, that they were both kind of cliche and derivative. I did enjoy them both very, very much in spite of that. I think I liked the double and triple crosses in Red Notice. I thought that kept it kind of interesting. So I'm going to go with Red Notice.
Okie dokie. Tom?
Pretty much what Gabe said. Red Notice.
All right. Andrew?
I'm gonna go with Red Notice for this one.
Oh. And Kyle, you're going Red Notice, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Speaking of derivative, we are four white guys with a movie podcast. So yeah, Gray Man for me, and you can just mark that in pen.
Okay, that's in pen.
And we're trying to stream on Twitch. Yep. That's
Yep.
it. Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
checks out.
Okay. Yep.
The story element and plot device in Red Notice, the fictional Cleopatra's Eggs, invented by writer-director Rawson Marshall Thurber, was so convincing that several cast and crew members on the movie believed it was a real story.
Oh wow. So he acts with dumb people.
The Gray Man is based on the book written by Mark Greaney, who has taken over Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan series. Mark has 5 novels in the Gray Man saga to date. And according to, well, I mean, it should not surprise Kyle, there's not a lot of writing trivia for either one of these movies.
So my favorite in that series is That Old Gray Man, He Ain't What He Used to Be. That's the last one where he infiltrates a retirement home to take out the last Nazi.
It makes you wonder, was this from the Spy versus Spy? We got Gray Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, no one
They were
got
they were secret
Amber
lovers.
wrapped
Is that
on
what
their
you're
head.
saying?
And it got
Brokeback
weird.
Mountain with Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling.
Moving on. Second round, acting.
You know, you can move categories, but you can't stop what's in my mind.
Fair enough.
Get him, Chris.
Tom, you're muted.
Are we really doing? I just muted because I didn't know we were actually doing the acting category. We are.
Yes,
though,
we are doing the actual acting category.
As
So
many
please
people have stated
talk
so
about
far.
writing.
Okay, get some more writing stuff in there. So acting. I like Ryan Reynolds. I like most of the stuff that he's done. I don't know why his snark for me doesn't age. I don't really get tired of it. I think he's incredibly witty and he thinks fast on his feet and comes up with some really funny lines. Dwayne Johnson, I can neither. I mean, he's never done anything that like. Let's rephrase that. He hasn't done anything on screen that I've kind of rolled my eyes. You know, he doesn't pick the best disaster movies. He's done some bad ones of those, but I liked him in Jumanji, and he's good in Moana. I'm excited to see him in Smashing Machine to see what he can really do in terms of stretching himself. I understand he's kind of a pain in the ass on the set when he's there. So like the actors in both of these movies, no one's really like turned me off, and it's so from that aspect. I went into this thinking that I'm probably going to enjoy these, and I'd seen these before when they first came out, but for some reason I don't know why, even on like second and third viewing, I still like watching Ryan Reynolds clips and his delivery. And I think one of the reasons Red Notice works with those two is it's that classic, straight man and foil, the straight man foil combination and Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds fit those pretty well. But I think the better acting is really in Gray Man. Ryan Gosling is doing what Ryan Gosling usually does in playing his charming and sarcastic, snarky self, and that's another stick that I just can't really get tired of. I think he's very funny, and it's a role that suits him really well. I think the real breakout of these two movies, like we've said, is Chris Evans playing the heavy, and it's I don't know, it's such a dramatic turn for him to play this role, and but it was so much fun, and he's so he's just very convincing in the role. I kept asking myself while I was watching it, how much of that is the mustache and how much of that is its delivery, because the mustache definitely adds to it. The two female, what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, is the mustache, is that part of acting, or is or would that be like like hair and makeup, or is it set dressing?
In this movie, on that face, yes, I think it's part of acting. I'm surprised the mustache didn't get nominated.
Yeah, it may have helped him get into character, having such a douchey mustache.
I'm guessing they had never-ending pile of Pringles on set because of that mustache.
I think the female leads in this, Ana de Armas, I think just acts Gal Gadot under the table, and Like Kyle said, I don't think Gal Gadot's a particularly great actress. I did just see The Materialist, so I do have Dakota Johnson recently in mind. So I know that Gal Gadot's not that bad. I've seen really horrible acting in the last couple of weeks, and so um, I know it could be worse. But Ana de Armas is a really good actress, and she has a lot of range too. She can do the comedy and action and the dramatic stuff. I also thought Jessica Henwick, who plays Suzanne in Gray Man, did a really great job too of walking that line between um, trying to rein in what little she could of the mission that was going out of control. But I've talked too much. Somebody else can go now.
I cannot think of a better example of damning with faint praise than you are a better actress than Dakota Johnson.
Hey,
That's
I
amazing. I mean, a win is a win.
no, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I wouldn't. You don't put that on your LinkedIn. You leave that one
No.
off. It's like the summer you spent working at the porno theater. You don't put that on your skills and
Speak for
experience.
yourself.
At least I don't. I don't anymore. But it was that essay that got me into college. But
It does get that where do I know you from question out of the way, which is
right,
nice.
it does. Yeah, I saw you, but well, hold on. I've seen you through some hazy glass, some streaky glass, I think. Uh, okay, acting. So we've already talked about how I'm kind of over Ryan Reynolds, and I'm all in on Ryan Gosling. So you can insert that meme of like my ex best.
Oh, you cut out, Kyle. Hurry, someone fill the dead air.
We've lost Kyle.
As
Yeah,
they,
There you
Oh,
what?
you were
We lost you.
gone.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
We
Yeah.
now
Oh, okay. Well, where did you lose me?
right at the beginning.
Yep.
Oh,
you
fantastic.
were saying something about getting over.
Getting over
Oh,
Ryan
yes,
Reynolds.
right.
The
So
meme.
Ryan Reynolds, I've moved on from Ryan Reynolds as my best friend. Now Ryan Gosling is my best friend. We've seen The Rock do little bits of stretching and different things in his career, but he mostly plays the same type-ish character. Ryan Reynolds has played basically the same character in almost every movie I've ever seen him in, including all the commercials and documentaries and everything else he does. Like that's all he is. He's like a persona now, and I dislike that. Gal Gadot is pretty much the same in every movie. She has zero range. She's a decent fighter. I don't know how much of her own choreography she does. I know she's supposedly pretty passionate about some of the physical stuff, and she knows quite a bit from some time she spent in the Israeli military. So I don't know how much of that is real, but apparently she's good at that, and I think that she's all right with that. I think there was a funny moment in this movie though, and where they're standing next to each other dancing, and I'm like, hold on, this can't be right. I think The Rock is way taller than Gal Gadot, and they're the same height on film. Gal Gadot's 5'10", The Rock is 6'4". So someone is standing on an apple box, or they did something weird there while they're dancing. That just caught me. But in the Gray Man, getting huge like psychopath, really hot Jeffrey Dahmer vibes off of Chris Evans. That kind of crazy mustache, kind of like a hot psycho, like a Ted Bundy. I thought he was really good and was like kind of sinister. Like, always kind of did it with like a smile on his face, which I don't know if that's more unsettling or less. I liked Billy Bob Thornton, and I thought he brought a little grounded realism to it and a little bit of gravitas, although he didn't do too much in the movie. I got to give a shout out to the young girl in the movie because she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she's in one of my favorite shows, I Think You Should Always Leave. Or I think you should leave, not I always think you should leave. Oh my god, I'm on drugs. Anyways, Ana de Armas is, I think, an underrated actress. I think she's very good at the physical stuff. She has good dialogue. She's great expressions. I just saw Ballerina, which I really enjoyed, and she carries that movie. Does a ton of physical stuff in that movie. So yeah, I liked her. I would take the trifecta from Gray Man over the three in Red Notice any day.
Yeah, I guess I will say that I agree with Tom. You know, I mean, I enjoyed Red Notice and the acting and the goofiness that Ryan Reynolds always brings, and The Rock plays his character. Gal Gadot is Gal. Like she's nothing to write home about, but she's easy on the eyes and she's nice in the movie. Um, but then you go to Gray Man and you have Ryan Gosling, who is a very strong actor, still does his shtick, which is, different than Ryan Reynolds, but still has that dry sarcasm that's fun and enjoyable. Ana de Armas, oh man, she's fantastic. And I agree with your sentiment, Kyle, about Ballerina. She's fantastic in that. You can just I would say she is a very underrated actress at this point, so I hope she gets more roles to see her be able to expand. Um, so yeah, I just kind of unfortunately I agree with Tom. No, I mean not unfortunately.
Yeah, I enjoyed. I think the acting in both of these movies is above average. It's pretty good across the board, and I think it helps. I said that I felt like the writing was maybe kind of mediocre or derivative, that kind of thing. But I think it's the acting and the actors themselves that make these movies so much more enjoyable. So I thought everybody did a good job in it. I still like Ryan Reynolds, but I have to agree with Kyle. He really has a shtick. It's like he's Ryan Reynolds in everything. Um, I don't hate it. I laughed a lot more. I think I laughed more at Red Notice, and mostly because of Ryan Reynolds and his snarky lines, than I did at Gray Man. I enjoyed Gray Man, but I didn't find it as funny. It was a little bit more on the serious side. Um, I just think that I think the acting across both of these is pretty good overall. So it's gonna be a hard selection for me. I'm not quite sure where to go with it yet.
I think what one of the smaller actors, definitely in Gray Man. So the guy that plays Brian Gosling's dad in the Gray Man flashbacks is Shea Wiggum, who
Oh
has like had a really good couple of years since this because he was in Mission
yeah,
Hmm.
Impossible 7 and 8,
Yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
had big roles, and then he a big role in F1. So I mean, um, yeah, he's having a pretty good summer for someone who tried to kill Ryan Gosling as a child. But who hasn't, right?
Right,
I
right.
and I would also say we talked a little bit about Chris Evans playing the rom-com all American boy playing Captain America, and then seeing him in these evil roles and these roles that make him out to be an asshole in a sense. And I mean, I would think that he's so used to playing the goody two shoes role that it's probably easier for him to play the asshole, the over the top, because he actually is probably acting. He's probably pretending and getting to play this. Think about all the times when you as a kid would pretend to be something you're not. You would normally go against your personality, and it was more fun because you got to be somebody else. And it feels like Chris Evans has these evil, in a sense, quote unquote, evil roles, and he enjoys them purely because he's actually getting to play. He's actually getting to not be just the awesome Chris Evans that everyone knows him as. I think it would be a lot more fun to play that bad role. I've heard actors even say that it's more fun to play evil than it is to play the straight good guy in a sense. So, and it
Yeah, and
feels
he
like he
seemed like
had fun. Yeah, he did.
yeah,
Yeah.
he seemed like he
Totally.
was having fun with it. Yeah,
Yeah, and man,
yeah.
I want to know how long if it wasn't real, I want to know, or if it was real, I want to know how long it took him to grow that bushy stash, because that thing is.
Well, it looks
It's
like
America's stash.
It is America's stash.
That's America's stash right there.
Can I just let me make a quick reference to old school wrestling, which is the thing I love. Think of two wrestlers from WCW. Follow me here: Sting and Ric Flair.
Mhm.
Sting was an amazing babyface, and that's a hard job to be that clean cut and white meat all the time?
We lost you again, Kyle.
Lost. Yeah, we lost.
All of it with a shit-eating grin. And it didn't matter if he won or lose, he was still the nature boy at the end of the night. So who do you think would be more fun to be? Did you lose me again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Jesus
you came
fucking
back,
Christ.
You came back. It was perfect.
It was so
I
good.
just did
when
an
he-
amazing WCW wrestling reference. And it's gone now. You're never getting it back.
Oh my god.
You came back at
I blame Ryan
babyface.
Reynolds.
You came back
I
at
blame Ryan
babyface,
Reynolds.
and it was gorgeous.
Baby face and a shit-eating grin is what
Yep.
you came back on.
Yep.
I was just saying, who do you think would be more fun to be? Sting, a clean-cut babyface, or Ric Flair, a
Yeah.
dirty, cheating heel?
Yeah.
Right? So
Oh,
it's got to
the
be more
heel.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to be more fun to be that guy.
So,
think- Oh, okay.
sorry, just to
Oh, okay.
preface, Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans were both encouraged to improvise their lines, and their
No.
first character face-to-face meeting was completely improvised, and allegedly, Chris Evans called his line about
The stash.
shoot that Ken or whatever it is, in reference to Ken and Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Was allegedly an ad lib by Evans.
Well, I
Because
mean, that's
They knew at the time.
I think so.
the
Yeah,
whole
it was-
spray after he sprays him, and he's like, "What gave it away?" And he's like, "That juicy stash in the white pants just screams Lloyd." Just sounds like something Ryan Gosling would
Yes.
just randomly
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
All right.
Just real quick too, and I know we talked a little, but Billy Bob Thornton is really, like you said, adds a lot of gravitas to Gray Man.
Yeah.
And Reggae Jean Page is someone I never watched Bridgerton, so he kind of came out of nowhere for me. But he's been someone really fun to watch in Black Bag, and then he was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Absolutely.
Oh
hilarious.
yes,
Mhm.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, he's so funny in that.
he is great.
So actually, I didn't really have anything to say about him. I just wanted to prove that I could say his name right. So
So you're saying
Congratulations.
the
Reggae Jean
extra
Page.
the extra 10 million to the first guy to put a bullet in this Ken doll's brain?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly, that was ad libbed.
Okay.
All right, let's put it to a vote.
Oh, you're skipping trivia, huh?
No, we go to trivia afterwards. Thank you,
No.
sir.
No.
How long have you been on
Tom.
this podcast, Andrew?
This was my first night. This is my
Go with
first
the Gray
night.
Man. Gray
I'm
Man.
sorry,
You're doing bad.
Gray Man. All right,
Still going Gray Man.
Andrew.
Great, man.
Kyle.
Well, I have no idea if anybody could hear this, but if you can, Gray Man.
And
He
Gabe.
said red notice, I think.
Oh, was
Yeah,
that
that's
it?
what I heard. That's
Don't
what I
you
heard, yeah.
fucking besmirch me.
Yeah, I enjoyed acting in both of these. I'm gonna go with Gray Man as well.
Oh, geez, Gabe. Don't.
I don't know. It's a hard
Sound-
choice.
sound so
I enjoyed.
hard on
I
yourself.
enjoyed both. I enjoyed both of the Ryans. It's a hard choice.
Chris Evans originally was considered for the lead role in The Gray Man, but he declined it to play the villain. On his first day of filming, he accidentally hit Ryan Gosling in the face with his prop gun.
Well, that's
The
not the
rap-
first time that's happened to Ryan Gosling. He got punched in the face by Harrison Ford in Blade Runner 2049 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dangerous.
Allegedly, I'm saying this allegedly, The Wrap reported that Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds got into a huge fight after Johnson arrived to set 5 hours late, resulting in Johnson walking out. The two didn't speak to each other for years until eventually reconciling. So take that with a grain of salt. It's from The Wrap. Let's move on to our third round, directing.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's me. So yeah, we'll talk about Gray Man first because it's probably the easiest because it's the Russo brothers and they've done some of the most popular stuff out there, especially for Marvel. If you're a Marvel fan, with Captain America, the First Avenger, Avengers Endgame.
Just real quick, Andrew. They didn't do First Avenger. They did Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War.
Oh, that's right. It was the Winter Soldier and Civil War. That's right. You are correct.
Yep. Joe Johnson did.
Yeah, that's right.
First Avenger.
And then
Arrested Development and Community.
Arrested Development, Community, You, Me, and Dupree, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a fantastic, fun movie. Community. So they have done quite a bit of stuff together. And I would say that one of the big things that is always the big joke with Marvel movies is you can't see anything in the editing, and all the fight scenes are just black, dark, and crazy and fast and blah. And I would say that this movie, Gray Man, sticks out a little bit from that, to where I think it's choreographed and maybe shot a little bit better, to where the fight scenes actually seem comprehensible, and they're a little more fun. They're a lot more wide angles, so you can actually have context of where everything is. They're not in dark rooms with just a bunch of really quick 20 cuts to see one punch. I think they did a really good job of keeping the action flowing and less like what we've seen previously. I mean, it's adequately directed. There's a car chase, there are explosions, there's gunfights, there's hand-to-hand combat, all of the stuff that is very difficult to shoot. You have to have a lot of, great coordination and stunts, and everything kind of has to fit together in clockwork to be able to get all of it the way that you want. And I feel like they are really good at doing that. And this movie exemplifies their ability to do that. I mean, character-wise, I think they directed these people. We've talked about the improv. I don't want to go over that, multiple times, but they got the.
Did they allow improv on set?
The Russo brothers? I think so.
Tom's shaking his head. He's holding his head.
Did we want?
I don't think we've discussed that.
Did we want to talk about the character acting a little bit and how there was some improv? Because I think I heard that on both of these. So, anyways, yeah. Let's go back. Let's go to Red Notice, which I found out just recently. Rawson Marshall Thurber. He has directed a lot of movies that I really, really enjoy. A lot of really funny comedies. We're the Millers. He directed Dodgeball. These movies are some of my I love Dodgeball. I've seen Dodgeball a bunch and laugh every time. I really, really enjoy excuse me, We're the Millers. There were parts in We're the Millers when I sat in the theater that I couldn't stop laughing. It's just so well done as a comedy. I would say that Red Notice, it's again well shot. There are a lot of intricacies that are going on with the story, that they're trying to get that secret agent bank heist kind of thing going on. The action scenes they have some fight scenes, but there's nothing that's like, wow, that was choreographed like really amazing. The one thing that I thought was the most interesting was they had to get a car chase scene, which was in the mine at the very end, and it seemed that that seemed very over the top. So it would be very fascinating to see how he pulled together that entire scene to get all of, the cars, and obviously a lot of it was probably not real. At least I don't think it was, because there was a lot of stuff that I'm like, yeah. But, them choreographing the fighting in between the cars, swooping in and out of the mine and everything else, I thought that was it was pretty incredible. They did a nice job with that. It was a fun scene. And then they went off in the waterfall, and I was like, eh. And then they ended up on the beach that looked like a set somewhere in Hollywood in a corner of a office that they just threw some water in a baby pool and threw up some fake trees because it was bad. But so yeah, that's my 5 cents.
I think so. One of the things that both these movies utilize drones, and they both do it to a pretty good effect. What struck me out watching them both this time is that Red Nose's drone work really is kind of, hey, flashy, look what we can do, look what we can do. And Gray Man's really kind of reserves theirs for stuff that helps kind of drive the plot forward. They're not just pretty set piece drone work, but it's actually, we want to get this shot. The drone's the best thing to do, to use to get it. And I think that's one reason why I think the direction of Gray Man's surpasses it. I will say I think the scaffold fight in Red Notice is an absolute blast. It's up there, I think, with the with the scaffolding scene in Shang-Chi. But the fight choreography in both of the movies are really great. I think the hand-to-hand stuff in Red Notice is probably a little superior to the stuff in Gray Man. But in terms of like the big, huge, actiony smash buildings and fuck shit up, Gray Man trumps. And they're from the scene once Ryan got. I mean, actually, probably when Alfred Woodard's house gets blown up. That whole sequence from there down into the square, and then the subway, the streetcar chase scene, that whole sequence is just an absolute blast, and it reminds you, these are the guys that brought you the Avengers, and you're in good hands, and it moves, and you can't catch your breath. But at no time are you trying to figure out like what's going on. You never lose your sense of what's happening in the scene, and the Russo brothers are so good at that.
I was just gonna.
Yeah, I mean, even with a lot of moving parts, they're really good at keeping you engaged in the action and you never feel lost. I think it's a great point to make because it's very easy to do when things get hectic and chaotic. Saying that, though, it made me realize something, and that is that Chris Evans, for all of his plan on plan on plan, never seems to be aware that people are willing to blow themselves up and drop grenades at his feet. He falls for that multiple times in The Gray Man. He is a psychopath, though, so he pushes someone in front of him. But that happens twice. Also, two respected actors blow themselves up to help Ryan Gosling. So he's got to be a pretty nice guy. If Billy Bob Thornton and Alfred Woodard are willing to blow themselves up.
Well, they
for
know
you.
he's the boy who lived.
That's a Harry Potter reference? I don't understand.
Neither do I.
I don't get it. Fair enough. Well, on that non sequitur, I know Mike loves a good grenade launcher. I don't know how you fire a grenade launcher with that accuracy while running. That's insane. She
That was so awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I also like that no matter how bad shit gets, Chris Evans never untucks his polo shirt and wears loafers with no socks, which
Yep.
is a choice.
Yep.
I do love that.
And the white pants.
Yeah, so I think the directing in Gray Man was great. It captured a lot of the flair. It captured a lot of the gravity it was trying to get across. It never took it was kind of serious and dark, but never overly too much. You could tell the difference between these two movies because I was watching Red Notice, and pretty quickly I told my wife, I said, no one's going to get shot in this movie. They're going to keep this movie like PG. They're going to shoot guns at people. They're going to blow stuff up. No one's going to get shot and fall down and die. Okay. And like, as far as I know, that like never happens. Guys just don't get like shot in the face or the head, or it's not John Wick. But in The Gray Man, there's like actual physical stakes. People get shot and killed and like bad things happen in a movie about bad things. That being said, Red Notice felt like it was set piece, bad joke, weird adventure twist, set piece, like over and over again. Not that The Gray Man wasn't moving from set piece to set piece, and as we mentioned, multiple times repeats respected actor blowing themselves up with a grenade while Chris Evans falls for it, or lighting a house on fire. And then yeah, I don't think like the most original. They're not like gonna win any awards. Maybe for stunt work, fight choreography, some stuff like that. But I think the failing in Red Notice is like not telling actors not to act a certain way or getting a better, different performance out of them, or shooting all of Gal Gadot from behind so you can replace her dialogue or something like that. Um, yeah, to me, there's this gap between these movies, and acting and directing is definitely part of it, with the shot choices and the set pieces and the tone and the way it looks. It's just much more visually interesting than Gray Man is to me. Red Notice is very bright and colorful at times, but mostly red or bleak white. But I think they're both adequately directed, but I really like Gray Man more.
Yeah, both of these movies are well directed. I mean, there's beautiful cinematography in all of them. I felt like the pacing was good on them. I can't think of any moments where I was like, okay, let's move, let's keep going here. I think they were both really well done, and they're both directed by experienced directors who have done similar types of things before. So I guess that's to be expected. And they had huge budgets, so that I'm sure they had great crews and that kind of thing. And I don't know, were they able to keep their actors in line and in check? With Dwayne and Ryan Reynolds, so that might be kind of hard to keep them in check. I don't know. It seems like they did. I think they got good performances out of their actors. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I think the cinematography is what stood out to me mostly, and especially in Red Notice. It was really a beautiful looking film. And Tom mentioned the drone shots, and I'm starting to think that some of that stuff is a little bit overused. I mean, we almost kind of expect it in these movies, but it worked well for Red Notice for what it was. And again, it was this whole globe trotting, world spanning kind of thing where, okay, every new country that they're in, we get a drone shot of the scenery, and that kind of thing. And look how beautiful this is. And yeah, I guess I don't have a lot more to contribute on the directing. I think you guys covered a lot of it. So
And I mean,
I
that
know
helped.
my opinion doesn't matter since I'm the host, but I would say this, that drones are a great tool for your establishing shots, right?
Mhm.
It adds movement, it can add a little bit of depth. Um, but Andrew, real quick, I want to know who has told you that they can't watch fight scenes in Marvel movies because they're too dark or too close up. Because, in my opinion, the best Marvel movie, directed by Joe and Anthony Russo,
Mhm.
was Captain America Winter Soldier, and you could tell everything that was going on.
I
Like, and they they have, I think Kyle said it, they have a great way of laying everything out, and you know where everything is in relationship to the characters, the camera, everything.
I said that Marvel movies are known for it, and that the
Oh,
Russo
okay.
brothers do a better job at establishing fight
Okay.
scenes.
Because I just want to know who they were, because I will fight them on top of a tram. That's all I'm saying.
um, the only thing I was gonna point out is Tom had mentioned that in Gray Man there wasn't a lot of close up fisticuff the fight choreography. You were talking about that. I love the fight at the end around the fountain, and Chris Evans' knife
Yes.
work is amazing. Like that scene where he has the knife and Ryan Gosling has his arm pinned back and he tosses up, catches with the other hand and stabs him. I'm like, oh my god, that was awesome.
And I think one of the reasons that scene works is because so much of the other action in the movie is big
Yep.
and involves planes and you know streetcars and that kind of thing. And when it comes down to it, it's these two guys, hand to hand.
Yep.
I thought that was a really great choice.
Yep. And
Mano y mano.
your establishing shots,
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
you're right, Mike, but you also look at it as they they have these really amazing places that they're at, with beautiful architecture and beautiful scenery. Why not? Why waste that? Let's get some B-roll, because the next
Yeah.
movie we make, we already got it.
I know the rounds ended. We'll get your
Oh,
votes.
sorry.
But I think Red Notice also had, I think it suffered a little bit from COVID-19. Like it was shot during COVID-19 and they had all these protocols.
Mhm.
So I think that, and I'm not saying this, if it's bad or if it's good, but I just think that they had to work around a lot of stuff
Mhm.
what that they normally couldn't do. Would normally have the freedom to do.
And maybe that explains some of the sets.
That could be. Yep.
Because, woof.
All right. Let's put it to a vote, Andrew.
I'm gonna go with Gray Man for this one.
All right, Kyle.
Guess what? Gray Man.
No.
Okay, no way.
Believe it.
No.
Tom.
Shocker.
Gray man.
And Gabe.
Gray Man.
All right. Rossum Marshall Tucker has said in interviews that he views this film as a love letter to Raiders of the Lost Ark, National Treasure, True Lies, Ocean's 11, and the two versions of the Thomas Crown Affair. He also has a cameo as an exhausted film director in a bar. Joe Russo has a cameo as one of the CIA executives at the end of the movie. I believe he's the one with all the lines when he's berating them at the end of the film. Let's move on to our fourth final round overall.
Well, I'm not sure there's much else that can be said about these movies, but I will give it my best go. The first thing I will say is to Rustin Marshall Thurber, if you're gonna write a love letter to a film, don't make a shitty film to do it.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm responding to his letter. Care of
Gotcha.
Indiana
Gotcha.
Jones.
All right.
Yeah. Don't bother. Yeah, I obviously I've made my feelings known. I don't think it's a secret now that I thoroughly enjoyed one of these movies and abhorrently trudged my way through the other. Soulless, life-sucking cash grab, um, starring a plastic man, an ex-wrestler, and a fairly tall woman, but not 6'4". I really did not enjoy Red Notice. I didn't enjoy the music. I didn't enjoy the directing. I didn't enjoy the acting. I didn't enjoy the writing. It was pretty in places. It did have some okay jokes. The set pieces were all right. I like that. It's an interesting twist to have The Rock be the kind of bumbling set upon good guy, which obviously is an act in the end. It's kind of weird to keep that going when he's about to die or be left behind by a helicopter or stuff. You're still trying to trick the audience by having him act that way. Like, oh, gee shucks, I'm going to let this guy get away in a helicopter. Kind of weird. There is such a thing as one twist too many. And this movie suffers from a lot of them. And also, there's a setup to a sequel, like a very ham-fisted setup to a sequel at the end of Red Notice. And all I can say is that I pray to all gods alive or dead, real or non-existent, that it never happens. So please put that in your back pocket and then set your pants on fire. There are 5 books in the Gray Man novel. I'd watch another 4 Ryan Gosling movies with this. Let's do a prequel so that Chris Evans' mustache can get bigger and whiter. Let's just make it bigger and whiter, make the pants whiter and the shoes smaller every movie as we work backwards through time. Maybe by the end of those, I'll be tired of Ryan Gosling, but he is such a handsome fellow. And I loved the set pieces in it, and but it was a bit repetitive. It is very derivative. I believe that movie is more of a love letter to things like The Bourne Identity or, spy cat and mouse games, CIA, Black Ops, that kind of stuff. That I'd be flattered to receive that letter and not immediately turn it into my local police office like I would if Red Notice sent me a letter. But I didn't notice the music in either of these. Rewatchability for me, I know we talk about as a big thing. I'd rewatch The Gray Man again right now. You'd have to Clockwork Orange me to get me to watch Red Notice again. And that's at the end where his eyes are open, not beat me to death with a porcelain penis. Just so you don't get the two scenes messed up.
How about both at the same time?
You know what? Whatever floats your boat.
Got
It's 2025. I'm trying to be more open. So I'm down to party. So there, I vomited up my thoughts. I'll let you guys spew yours as well. What do you think?
Well, Kyle, I'm surprised that you hated Red Notice so much. You know, you could make an argument that neither of these movies are really, great movies. But even so, they were very entertaining. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them both. And I'm just surprised that you feel so strongly about Red Notice and are so enamored with Gray Man. I don't know. It's just an observation. I'm not trying to change your mind. Yeah, and
I
one
think
of the
the
things
ship sailed.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
One observation I
sorry,
wanted to make.
I actually lost you guys there for a minute. I caught the tail end of that. But yes,
Oh, really?
I think no,
Do you
seriously,
think
yeah,
it's?
I did. I
Do you,
think
do
it's
you think it?
whenever I think it's
Go
whenever
ahead.
anyone tries to speak out against Gray Man, I think my internet cuts out.
Oh,
Oh,
No, I heard what
it,
you, yeah, I
espionage.
did catch the gist of what you said.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about Red Notice that just rubbed me the wrong way. It felt so soulless to me, and I just did not enjoy it at all. And maybe the Gray Man is exactly the same thing, but it pulled the wool over my eyes, and I can't see it for what it is, or it hit it a little better. I don't know. I really don't know. But I would agree with you. I don't think either of these movies are like top tier, making anyone's top 100 list or whatever. But I think the gulf in my enjoyment of the two is really what gave me such strong feelings.
Huh. Yeah, I just find that interesting.
mhm.
One thing I wanted to mention about these, and we kind of mentioned it in the directing category of the love letter to these other movies, but yeah, it was really obvious that Red Notice was making not even subtle references to other movies, especially Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is whistling, the Raiders march when he goes down the stairs in there. I mean, it's very clear that they're, and even there's even some music that's referenced to when they go when they put the ark in in the warehouse with all the boxes and that kind of thing. I mean, and it looked like that down there in that, and it's a Nazi bunker, and it's got all those crates in it and that kind of thing. So it's very, very obvious. There was a little bit more subtle one, I think. I don't know if it was intentionally a reference or not, but I felt like there was a reference to Fight Club in it, which would not surprise you guys, but because he takes that soap and he throws it in the thing and makes nitroglycerin. So he's using soap to make nitroglycerin, which basically is what they do in Fight Club. So I felt like that was maybe a slight reference to that, maybe. I don't know. And then of course at the end, when they're at the Louvre and that was like Da Vinci Code or something like that at the end. I think Kyle's right. It did seem like a kind of a in your face, ham-fisted, you know, nod to an upcoming sequel, where they all escape and they all start working together. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, what's coming? There's it feels like there's going to be a sequel to it, but yeah, and like in the past, we've often talked about music in films in this category, but I think Kyle was right, or somebody said it earlier that I don't know if any of the music was particularly memorable in either of these. Do you guys? What do you guys
Not
think about music?
not from a score standpoint. I thought some of the needle drops in Gray Man were kind of cool. I mean, the Silver Bird from like 1970. It was a deep cut, but I thought, I mean, those kind of stood out because it was, I mean, because her and the record player and stuff were kind of a,
Mhm.
you know, a theme that ran through the movie. So, um, although I do gotta say, like, they have a decent amount of money. I don't know why she's playing her records on a Crossley. Like, somebody should pluck to a Billy Bob Thornton's fingernails for having her have such a shitty record player. But I mean, come on, get her something decent. So
Right.
Well, I mean, there was Beastie Boys in Red Notice.
Yeah, for a second, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god." Okay,
But
that reminds me of
everybody
another thing I wanted to mention too. Yeah, it was like for a second, I'm like, that came on. I'm like,
Sabotage.
I turned to Jill and I said, "I love that song," and then all of a sudden it was over. I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh man, that sucks." I loved that song, and I thought it would have been really cool to play during a chase sequence, but then
Yep.
it ended up being a joke itself. One of the things that I did not like about Red Notice is the shameless marketing of their alcohol brands.
oh really? Aviation Gin?
Yeah, aviation gin, and you can tell when the Rock is sitting at the bar in one place, they pour him a glass or a shot of his Terramana tequila. So they're both like shamelessly plugging their alcohol, and I was like, it was a little too obvious. You know, when Ryan Reynolds goes into his house, it's sitting there. That bottle is very distinctive.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
even have
can't
to
miss
say
it.
the words. Yeah.
It wasn't shameless.
You know, it's
Yeah.
I'm not gonna question any of Ryan Reynolds' business dealings because he knows what the fuck he's doing. I
Mhm.
mean,
Well, that is true. I mean, and I've heard he makes more money off. Well, he made more money. I don't know if he actually still has any ownership in the gin, aviation gin, or not.
I mean
But
that and he's got, you know, phone
Mint.
company and
uh,
a soccer team. I mean, he's
right, right,
like he can act in whatever he wants to at this point,
Mhm.
and he does.
right. Yeah, yeah. But I just thought it was like I kind of rolled my eyes when I saw it. When I saw the bottle on the counter, I'm like, oh god. And then just a short time later, then the Rock is drinking his own tequila. I'm like, oh, geez, really? Does everything have to be an advertisement? I feel like so much of our entertainment these days is
Yeah.
really just an extended advertisement for
You're-
something else.
I mean,
Well,
you're
even
aware
the
Which
the movies
brings up a
themselves.
really good point. Don't forget Johnson and Johnson augers. We're
This is
there for
true.
your auger needs.
I mean, look, as far as like the advertising and the product placement, they've been doing it in movies forever. But these are two
forever.
movies that are made by Netflix. I mean, they're basically just advertisements for Netflix. I
Mhm.
mean,
Right,
the whole
it's
point is to
true.
get you to subscribe. It's not about going to the theater or, you know, seeing it with strangers. It's about you to make sure that you make your monthly payment.
Right,
So
exactly.
And I mean
Yeah.
now a lot of the digital services now, they have pop-ups while you're watching the movie. You can buy products right after you watch the movie. Disney Plus has just started doing this whole, you can buy the plushies while you watch the movie.
nope, that
So
shit happens. I'm out.
well, like
Uh,
that kind of stuff is there. Like it's you know, you're
It is.
watching YouTube TV and on the sidebar it's like, hey, send this ad to your phone so you can remember later. Like
Yeah.
they're
You remember
already doing it.
the hellscape that was like Modern Life in Minority Report?
Yeah.
People walking
Yeah.
around and just like personalized ads popping up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife and
You
I have a discussion
Even the
about something, and it like pops up in Reddit
Oh
an hour
yeah,
later.
yeah.
do you
I thought
guys
about messing around with that and like going into a room without our phones and Jill and I talking about, okay, let's talk about something that we're not actually interested in. Let's and see how but around our phones and see
Yeah,
how long it takes before ads start popping up about that thing. You know, let's
I
pick
got
something kind of noticeable.
3
Yeah.
hours. My wife was like,
Yeah.
what was it? It was Liquid IV, like the sports drink. I never even heard of it. And she's like, somebody recommended that. They said it was good. Next thing I know, my Reddit feed is full of ads for Liquid IV. It was
Really?
I've
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I've seen it with
Yeah.
Spotify. We were playing a game together and someone was talking about Prince and they were listening to Spotify and they're like, "Yep, all of a sudden I got Prince songs coming up on my Spotify."
I have got so many ads for augers on my Facebook feed, you fucking assholes.
There you go. That's what we need to talk
Johnson and
about.
Johnson will give you the long auger.
And he holds a goal for me and my brother.
The one last thing I wanted to point out was there is one other movie that I really enjoyed Chris Evans in where he plays the bad guy, and that's Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And
good movie. Very underrated.
He has that
I love that
kind of
movie.
prickish moments there as well.
Oh yeah, he plays. Yeah,
Where he can clone himself.
What was
And
he was
he's
in a
an
band
actor.
or something?
And he's an actor.
No.
He's an
Oh, yeah,
over the top
yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
But
I love that movie.
I guess
Call it grind, bro.
It's called a grind, bro. My big thing is like I don't mind homages, especially if they know they're doing it, and like it's pretty obvious they were. I've done homages in some of my films that I've written where I do throwbacks to silly stuff. I mean, how most of my credits in all of my stuff, I have the stereotypical airplane like credits. That's my homage to Airplane, and they're goofy, and I do it every time. So I don't know. I guess I'm okay with people doing it because that's probably the stuff that they grew inspiration from or that they really enjoyed and they wanted to throw it in there. And sometimes it comes off as super cheesy and sometimes it works really well. And I guess that's for the audience to decide what they felt. Obviously, Kyle, yep, I know where you're at. But
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned homages because I got two things I wanted to talk about during this one that I haven't got to yet. First of all, can you guys hear me? Just making sure. I don't want to go on a rant if no one can hear me.
Yeah.
Because then I'm
So far,
basically
it usually comes out in the middle of your rant.
All right.
Yep.
If they make a sequel to Red Notice, I'm canceling my Netflix subscription. I'm not funding this shit. Second, no, 1A. Okay, 1A. This is an addendum. Aviation gin tastes like shit. Don't put fucking black licorice in your gin. It's disgusting.
I like black licorice.
You and 0.3% of the other people in the world. So you get in your little weird corner and eat black licorice.
Give me some Jaeger and we can have some fun.
Jaeger is good when it's ice cold. Otherwise, get it out of my face. All right. Second, if your movie in 2025 uses the Wilhelm scream,
yeah,
I am
more than
going
once.
to dock your movie 99%. You are going to go back to 1%. I am fucking over it.
That was tongue in cheek.
It is
just
no,
like,
it's
do not
too
take
much.
this seriously.
This is a joke. This is a joke that has been. It's never been funny, and it's been going on for 30 years.
More than 30 years.
I know.
It's time. Mike, tell me you have that ready to go.
Time to stop.
I did notice that the punching while they were racing their cars down the mine, that the punch hits were the Indiana Jones fight punches.
I'll tell you what, we went and saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, we went and saw Raiders of the Lost Ark on the big screen a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we talked about was the punch sounds.
Yeah.
And how they were way over the top, but
They're
it was
very distinct.
And yeah, it was very fantastic. It was so cool. And the gun sounds. Like the guns sounded really cool too. And I think about that, when I was watching Red Notice and that kind of thing. I don't feel like Red Notice lived up to it. Maybe they were trying to do an homage to that, but the punch sounds in Raiders of the Lost Ark are just like,
oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
They're
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's just,
and I will go and say the best gunfiring and bullets hitting sound effect is True Lies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't recall that specifically, but that could
go
be.
watch True Lies once we get done with this.
Indiana Jones is they're very distinct, I would say.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Go for
It's
it.
still a great movie.
Tom?
It's still great action sequences in that movie. The truck scene in Raiders, I don't know. It still rivals any of these new ones. I mean, these new ones are crazy over the top, but that truck scene is so fantastic.
Golly, we sound like old men.
Mm-hmm.
Diesel.
They don't-
We are
Back
all
in
making
my
one
day,
they
they
used
don't
to.
make movies
We-
like
we
that
are all
years here.
Do I need to
Jeez.
remind you all that we went and you before we got started, we all went and used the restroom.
I did not.
This
Could
is
get
true.
started.
This is true.
I did not.
I did not.
I'm holding
3
it.
out of the 5 of us. All right.
Yeah, but movies peaked with Sons of Katie Elder. You know, it's just
Tora.
all been
That
downhill
was
from
it.
there.
That was it.
when
Let's
men were men and women wore skirts.
let's put it to a vote. Kyle.
Don't even ask me. It's the Gray Man.
Tom.
Gray Man. Did that go through?
Oh
No.
no, it did not.
I'm waiting.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
How's it not going? Okay, weird.
Gabe
Gray Man.
and Andrew.
I want to give a little bit of love balance, so I'm giving it to Red Notice.
Okay. All right. In the first meeting between Billy Bob Thornton and Ryan Gosling in The Gray Man, Fitz states that Six was born in 1980, which is the exact same year that Ryan Gosling was born.
What a baby.
Thus, the actor character are 42 years old during the main storyline. And I just found this weird. Apparently, Netflix, someone needs to watch some of their other movies because the birthdays of both Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds' characters match both the actors' real birthdays. These are the 2nd of May and the 23rd of October, respectively. And my favorite piece of trivia was at the end of that, they said they did not mention Gal Gadot's character because she is supposed to be mysterious. So you don't know what her birthday is. So it's like, oh, I can fit some more in here.
All
All right. Now that that's over with, let's move on to her. I don't know. What are you doing, Tom?
I'm playing lens flares with my camera. Go ahead.
Okay, JJ. Let's move on to recommendations for this month, and we will start it with Tom.
Oh, thanks. That's awesome that you did that, so I could stop sticking around with my lights. All right, so
See
we're
what I
talking
did there?
about actors rather, playing against type. And I saw a movie that had Benicio del Toro in it, playing completely against any roles that he's done in the past. And that's The Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's latest movie. Benicio del Toro plays a wealthy billionaire who's being targeted by multiple assassins. It's quirky and whimsical, like Wes Anderson usually is, but the real star is Benicio, and he is so funny in this movie. And like I said, it goes against the type he's always played. So much so that I walked out and I kind of was, kicking rocks down the sidewalk. Was like, he should get a Best Actor nomination. He won't because it's comedy and the Academy hates comedy. So, but if you want to see Benicio del Toro do something completely different, check out The Phoenician Scheme, playing now at theaters near you.
I want to watch it. 100%.
It's so good. It's so funny.
I want it in my eye hole so bad.
Oh my. All right. Thanks, Tom. Gabe.
Well, I'm glad I get to go next, and that Tom didn't take mine. This movie has been mentioned a couple of times already on the podcast, and it is if it's in the vein of the two movies that we watched for the show today, and I'm going to recommend Ballerina, which is a movie in the John Wick universe with Ana de Armas in it, and it's like these movies. I don't know that it's a great movie, but it is so entertaining and it's so beautiful and it's so violent. And Ana de Armas is fantastic in it. She, and we also, we get a little glimpse of Keanu Reeves as John Wick again, which I think some people, if you're a fan of the John Wick movies, you're happy to see him again, and they kind of pulled him back in to the universe. And there's some crazy sequences in it, like just ridiculous fight scenes in it, and but they're so well done, and like I said, it's really beautifully shot. Um, and if you're into that kind of thing, I would definitely recommend it. It was a really fun ride.
All right. I've been meaning to watch that as well. Thank you, Gabe. Andrew.
Well, golly, I am going to actually. I'm glad no one took mine either, but I'm going to actually recommend a movie that connects both movies of, or connects Gray Man actors back in together, and that is with Anna de Armas and Chris Evans in the movie Ghosted. And it's basically it's the same kind of, secret assassin, international spy kind of thing. And Chris Evans plays just a random nobody character and ends up falling in love with Anna de Armas, who is this secret super assassin spy, and she can't obviously tell him what she does, and they get into all these crazy things, and he ends up getting kidnapped because he gets mistaken for somebody who is not him. And everyone thinks he is this terrible, terrible crime torture assassin guy, and it's not him. And it's a lot of fun. It's similar to like a Gray Man and Red Notice. It's just kind of a roller coaster of fun. It's very cliche, has some humor, cute rom-com on top of action. So, Ghosted.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Andrew.
it also has Ryan Reynolds in it.
It does also have Ryan Reynolds. It's a big connection,
so,
right?
Yeah, it's like they're all crossbreeding in these movies nowadays.
Whoa.
No,
Boy,
oh.
Kyle.
Why do you have to segue from crossbreeding to me?
It just reminded me.
It's easy.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Yeah, I feel pressure now to recommend an action movie, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna recommend a movie. It has nothing to do with either of these two films, other than awkward clothing choices, and that is the Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd comedy Friendship. I saw it in the theater twice. Once with my friend Jason, who is a big I Think You Should Leave fan, and then my wife wanted to watch it, so I saw it again. If you like I Think You Should Leave, it is basically a 90-minute I Think You Should Leave sketch. It has some flaws in some things, but it also has some hilarious moments. And I hope that Tim Robinson keeps getting a chance to do that kind of stuff, because I will turn up to see it all the time. So check out Friendship. It's a very different, quirky movie. So if you're into a little absurdist comedy and heightened realism, it's interesting.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Mine is not necessarily an action movie, but I think everyone needs to go see it on the biggest screen possible. It's directed by Joseph Kosinski. It stars Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, and Javier Bardem, and that's F1 the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic. And all I have to say is give more movies to Joseph Kosinski, because I really, every movie he's done, I've really enjoyed, and I like them a lot. And I mean, I guess you could say the same with Brad Pitt. But Damson Idris is really good in it, and Javier Bardem, everyone's used to seeing him using a pneumatic cow killer to kill people. This goes against that, and he is very charismatic and very good in the film as well. So check out F1 the movie.
I've heard really good things.
Iowa filmmakers, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was going to say,
right.
I always like to mention when Joseph Kosinski's name comes up, I always like to mention he's from Marshalltown.
Yep.
And I narrowly missed an opportunity to go meet him up there in Marshalltown. I don't remember why I couldn't make it, but he was back there and he was talking to filmmakers and stuff, and I wish I had gotten a chance to meet him.
Yeah.
Well,
Joe Russo too.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
Oh, really?
Went to University of Iowa.
Yep.
I did not know that
Look at
one.
me.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
Okay, well,
Well, we're going to poke the monkey and find out who won this month.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Your winner by decision is the Gray.
All right. Well, that was a little more lopsided than I thought it was going to be, but 12-4. And I really do think that Red Notice suffers from, being made in the time that it was made. And it also suffers from The Rock and Ryan Reynolds fatigue.
Yeah, I think you were right when you said awful. You accidentally said awful. I think you're right.
Jeez.
Well, just my 2 cents. I enjoyed both of these movies, but at the end of both of them, I wanted to see a sequel to The Gray Man. Like, I didn't think that about Red Notice, but I wanted to see more of The Gray Man.
I think we get
It's
it.
funny. I think it's funny that Gray Man didn't necessarily put that out there. You know what I mean? It wasn't obvious that there could be a sequel to Gray Man necessarily. I mean, well, obviously there could be, the way it turned out, but like Red Notice, it was in your face. Like, they're setting up for a
Right.
sequel on this, But Gray Man, I didn't feel that way. It was a little more subtle. And like you said, if it's based on a series of novels, what you said, 5 of them at this point,
5 of them.
there's definitely material for sequels there. And I
agree.
would probably watch them.
it begs the
Russo's and Gosling said they want to do it, but they're just like drowning in Star Wars and commitments to other stuff. And
And
just funny because Rock and the Red Team or Red Notice, they want to do a sequel too, but Reynolds and Rock had to patch things up after their big fight. So
well, and it
We
begs
might
begs a question with Gray Man with additional movies. Would it be the Russo brothers together, or would they?
Well, don't they have a deal with Netflix? Don't they have like a big deal? Their production company has a big deal with Netflix.
But does it mean they have to direct together, or can they do?
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
They did separate.
That's why I was throwing it out there, because they've
Yeah.
done separate projects, and it's a different in a movie.
Yes. Yeah, and they usually do different films when they're working separate.
Yes.
But when they're working together, they do these types of films.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, I think with their scheduling stuff, they're just gonna have to pass it off to another director.
Yeah.
So
Joseph
I'm thinking,
Kosinski.
I think it's too much for one person. I think they need to bring in the Coen brothers for Gray Man 2.
Oh my God!
Wow.
That would be so different.
That would be
so
different, but also fantastic.
But it might be really cool. Yeah.
Let's just 4 rooms the Gray Man, right? Where you get a different director for each one, kind of like what they did with Mission Impossible. And
I thought you were gonna say Danny Boyle.
No,
No.
He's got other stuff he's working
on.
Tom already got his check. Tom already got his check. He mentioned Sunshine.
That's right.
Yeah, Danny, he left an hour ago.
How about Simon Pegg and directing?
Oh, that would be all right.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Oh man, Edgar Wright.
Simon
how
Pegg
about-
writing with was it his Jack? I can't think of his first name. Anyways, and then with Edgar Wright directing, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
I think Red Notice 2 needs Wes Anderson.
That would be a different action movie by far.
I think somebody needs to do these things. Like even if it's just a short, like I think I've seen like someone took Star Wars characters and put them in like a Wes Anderson film.
Yeah.
It's AI generated.
And I thought, oh, that's really funny. But we ought to do that with these movies.
Great,
let's Yeah, let's do Gray Man with Edgar Wright or the Coen Brothers or something, and
He's
see what
doing
that
Running
comes out
Man. He doesn't have time.
Yeah.
like.
All right. Well, please leave us a review on whatever podcasting service you use. It helps us reach new listeners. If you like us, tell your friends. If you hate us, tell your enemies. You can contact us at cinesmack@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, or search Cinesmack. And if you want to listen to an unedited version of the show, you can catch us live on Twitch whenever we record an episode. We also now have a YouTube channel where you can watch the recorded Twitch videos with all the great graphics that Andrew has put together for us. In August, this is a bad write-up, but bear with me. In August, it's double the cop movies with quadruple the attitude as Bad Boys takes on Tango and Cash.
Jeez.
For Andrew, Kyle, Gabe, Tom, and myself, thanks for listening, and go catch a flick.
1, 2.